Okay, guys, part two of this video that I had started. So basically, I'm helping with this channel other women to live a better life. So, helping women not to be in porn is something that I feel is something that women are not learning nowadays. The Bible talks about how the older women are supposed to be teaching the younger women love their husband, love their children, be chaste, be discreet, lovers of what is good, lovers of what is right. So, when I came from a background, I shared this with my mom in the projects, and I had a family that I was close to that, pretty much anything went for the most part. I mean, yes, there was a code of conduct. There was definitely some morals, some things that you didn't break. But when it came to sexual integrity, that was not really taught. Okay, so from there, like I talked about, I had different relationships trying to figure things out. I had the trauma of my first boyfriend, and then I was trying to get on my feet. I had no healing from the abortion. It was like sophomore year of high school. Life went on. I went to gym, and it came out sideways. So there was this guy who liked me at the restaurant, and he was Mr. Cool, and I was dating him. And so I eventually broke up with him, and then I was with my husband, dating him for a few years. And, I look back and I think, why were we allowed to go up into the bedroom? Why were we allowed to do this stuff, right? And it's just the culture I was brought up in, and so was he. So, um, what I'm using my experience with is, again, I was a teenage girl. I didn't really know better. But what you got going on right now is, where I've turned my life around. I became a mother. I turned my life around. As you get older, you should be maturing. You should be learning. And I never knew, I never heard, what is fornication, right? Until I went to church and I heard what the Bible had to say about it. And I totally changed my life. Fornication, sleeping with people outside of the marriage is wrong, I talked about how I left my husband, just because he wasn't being nice to me. Adultery is wrong, all this stuff. So as you grow as a Christian, you should be learning all this if you didn't have it in your background, and should be turning your life around. But instead, we have women nowadays who are gold diggers, and a gold digger is not what my mother-in-law called me when we got behind on the bills because we didn't have much money. A gold digger is someone who goes after the money despite any morals. She goes after the money. She doesn't care what it takes to get the money. So a lot of women are using their beauty. They think they are being empowered. If you watched Michael Knowles' video on whatever, these women think that they are being empowered by using their beauty and their sex, their sexual abilities to, get money. One of the women even admitted it, and she's like, well, instead of making other people millions of dollars, I figured I'd make myself millions of dollars by doing porn. And, they think that they're on top of the world. They think that they're hot stuff. And they're actually, the truth is, they're destroying themselves. They are on their way to hell. They don't even know it. The Bible is very clear about sexual immorality. It's wrong. It's using other people, basically, to get what you want. Using beauty to think you can get whatever you want in life. That is kind of how it is. So I talked about how I had family on one side, and then I had country folk on the other side. And, you want to be in the middle. You want to be balanced. You don't want to be a woman who doesn't put any effort into yourself, but you don't want to be way out there, as my grandmother was, looking like an Elizabeth Taylor and thinking, oh, I want money, or I want to have things, a drink or whatever. I'm going to use my beauty to go get men to buy me drinks at the bar, right? Or whatever it is. So, prostitution is a very old trade. I remember my grandmother saying that once, but it is not moral, right? It's just not. And not only is it not moral, but what's happening is a lot of these girls don't realize, they think they are deceived. They think that they have everyone tricked. Look at me, ain't I pretty? Look at me, I'm good looking. I'm God's gift to men, kind of thing. But they are destroying themselves in the meantime. You cannot separate your soul from your body. So they think, oh, and they will say this if you watch this on my community channel. They'll say, oh, well, my heart's not really in it. It's just a job. I just go through the motions, basically. It's not really me. It's not who I am. You cannot be divided like that. Not at that level with having sex with a bunch of men. You can't. So for these women, they're not only going to be divided within themselves, because that's what happens when you serve two masters, but they are going to have a hard time with intimacy. They're going to have a hard time with going back and going through what they went through with each guy and trying to figure things out. So they're just having sex like it's food, like every single day, different guy, different, this stuff is not healthy. And years ago, Michael was saying if you were an actress or a prostitute, it was considered criminal. So this is sort of almost like criminal behavior. It's saying I can't get what I want by earning an honest wage. So I'm going to go use my own devices to go make money, right? So, like I said, I'm not trying to, I am calling a spade a spade. You are supposed to, come right out with it, call it what it is. It's immoral, it's disgusting, it's wrong, right? The Bible talks a lot about the immoral woman in Proverbs, how a man is supposed to avoid her because he will lead her, she will lead him to the steps of hell. Anyone who's in sexual immorality is on their way to hell. The Bible is very clear that nobody makes it to heaven who's doing those things, because you're using people. You're just using them to get your own self-gratification met. So there are girls who don't know better. I didn't know better. I was just trying to find a boyfriend for me. And then there are women and girls who do know better, and they do this as a lifestyle. And what we're seeing right now is people who are sex workers, so to say, wanting the same privilege and treatment as those, and respect of those who don't do that. And that's not really how it works in life. It's just not. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to be a sex worker and that's just a part of my life, but it's not really who I am. No, it is truly who you are. You cannot separate the two. So, as I said, I do have a heart for women, and I'd like to see women come out of this. And honestly, the only way I think a woman is going to come out of some of these strongholds that are here is Christ. It's truly the love of Christ. A lot of women are looking for love. They're looking for love in the wrong places. Heard a woman talk about this recently, and it's just really, you need Christ. So when you come to know who Christ is, he says, I'm trying to think of the verse. I can't think of it. I think it was the woman at the well. If you come to me, I will give you living water, and you will never thirst again. So Christ is the cure. He is the one who satisfies a woman. If you happen to meet a man in life who absolutely loves you to pieces, it talks about that in the Bible, how, what was it? Hosea was called by God to love a prostitute, and he loved her so much, even though she was unfaithful. So, God loves us even when we are, struggling or in sin, etc. But we don't want to do this as a woman. It's very self-destructive. You are actually lowering yourself. Michael was talking about how no traditional man is going to want a woman like this, and it's true. No man who has enough boundaries, you can find a man, but no man who has enough self-respect for himself and enough boundaries for himself is going to want a woman like this. So Michael's point was you're eliminating your chances of finding a good man, a traditional man, it's what you want. So these women have no morals, but they want a man with morals, and it just doesn't work that way. So as I talk about all kinds of stuff on my channel for women, we want to help women in every way live their best life. We don't want women living in the pig pen. And it's true. If you're living in that mud and you're living in that muck, you're never going to be happy. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.